Just waiting for the red bar. Bing. All right. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Let me pause or mute our live feed so I don't have to hear that.
Wait, do you hear this?
Oh, I heard that. Oh,
That's
I heard that.
Let's
Let's not do that.
Like a haunted house is what it is.
Yeah. In preparation of Halloween. All right, my friend, if you're ready, let's jump in.
I'm ready.
Welcome to Just Curious Media. This is That's a Crime. I'm Jason Connell.
And I'm Sal Rodriguez.
All right, Sal, we are back with another crime.
Yes. And a high-tech crime.
High tech, a lot of fun, fun-ish, light, which we like these to offset the other ones that are the heavier crimes. But this one's fun. This is like everybody's dream, or some people's dream. And I cannot wait to get into it because today we are breaking down the true crime story of Crypto.com sues woman after sending her $7.1 million instead of $68 in 2021.
I'm laughing because how does that even happen? Like how does an error like that even occur?
Yeah. Even if it was like $168, what a score, right? $100. No, this is like absurdity mistake. And I don't even believe it. And I still had a hard time believing it until I read a few articles. And again, crypto.com comes back up because we've covered crypto.com before. So this is just an incredible tale. And I cannot wait to get into it with you, Sal.
I'm excited about it.
And when I say tale, I mean crime.
As opposed to what?
Yeah, well, we don't just talk tales. We talk crimes here on That's a Crime.
Absolutely. We cover everything from a misdemeanor to a murder.
And this is somewhere in the middle. Not sure.
Do we know? We're going to find out if it's a misdemeanor, I guess, right?
I'm not sure because I'm sure it's still unfolding, but we're going to get into all the specifics and things that we do know. But first, Sal, a word from our sponsor.
My pleasure.
My pleasure. No, my pleasure. Support for That's a Crime is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming and offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, and with this exclusive offer, you'll get
20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code That's a Crime at manscaped.com.
Perfect. Okay, back to the crime. So, Sal, as I was just saying, we've definitely had Crypto.com on the show before. It was the episode where hackers steal $30 million in Bitcoin and Ethereum from Crypto.com in 2022. So again, they have been hacked. A lot of these crypto companies, are doing all sorts of things, selling, and which is great. There's a lot of new players in the space, but they are targets because there's lots of money sitting there, right? And on that episode, we got into it. What happened with this $30 million that were hacked? Now, we also learned that Crypto.com paid back the customers that were, that did lose money, that were compromised, which was great. I mean, this is a company trying to build a name, a brand, so much so that they purchased the naming rights for the Staples Center, which is the famous arena in Los Angeles where the Lakers and the NHL Kings play, for $700 million. So these guys aren't messing around. This is real money, Sal. But there's so much money lying around that they accidentally are sending 7.1 to someone doing a small transaction. So I don't know, Sal. It's crazy.
Hang on, Jason. It costs $700 million to rename Staples Center Crypto.com Center.
Yes. For how?
$700 million?
$700 million. I'm sure.
I mean, you're basically just putting your name on the front, right?
Yeah, but it's on. Think of all the branding tie-ins. Any concert at Staples Center is no longer Staples Center. Any concerts at Crypto.com Arena. So it just, perpetuates itself. It's anywhere and everywhere. I think the Grammys were there. Other teams play there. The LA Sparks, the WNBA team. It's always highlighted in shots of downtown LA. So yeah, big time. They went all in. But Sal, this is a crime, yes, but Crypto.com also got a little sloppy with bookkeeping there. So we can delve into that and what we do know, as I think some of this is still unfolding. But in May 2021, a woman from Melbourne, Australia, which I've been to Melbourne, big fan, amazing.
Nice.
Had a great time there. One of my movies, Glow, played at the Canberra Film Festival, which is the capital. And then I said, oh, this is amazing. I'm having so much fun. I flew to Melbourne and enjoyed that, which was probably my favorite city. And then I went to Bondi Beach, which is in Sydney. So highly recommend it. So that's this little plug there for Australia.
That's very cool. Very cool.
This woman, thank you. Yes. I saw many a kangaroo. True story.
Really? They're just like walking around.
Well, I went to a field. There was
okay. They're like walking down the street.
A lot. It blew me away.
Wow.
But again, this woman, May 2021, from Melbourne, named, bear with me here, let me try it again. Thevamanogari Manivel. Long name, but hey, Thevamanogari Manivel accidentally received $10.5 million in Australian money, which is, of course, the 7.1 million, rather than the $100 refund she requested, which was 68 in Australian dollars. And she accidentally received this, Sal. And if this happened to you, if it just happened to you, you go in there and you're making a transaction in your account for $100. We'll go off the US money now, $100. And you look up when the transaction ends and you have $7.1 million in your account. What does Salvador Rodriguez do? How far can you get, Sal?
Are any authorities listening to this?
No, it's crickets.
You know, I love these hypotheticals because it starts to question your own morality or like
exactly.
Where do your morals begin and end? Like, I don't know if I might have mentioned this on our previous episode of That's a Crime, but I once received a never-ending gift card.
Oh yeah. And you kept trying to it was at a gym. And
it kept going to like $1,500. And finally I'm like, you know what? I think I gotta stop.
Press your luck. Yeah, you stopped. Yes.
Stopped, so I think like in those types of situations, you're like, well, I don't want to get caught, so I'm not going to buy anything. I'm not going to be one of these guys. All of a sudden I have a beautiful new home and a beautiful new car. No, you got to lay low. You don't want anybody to know. If you get money, if you find money, if you win money, you don't want people to know. So
not like the guy from Edmonton, Cara, who's the coin thief.
Oh yeah, no.
He was building lavish homes and whatnot.
No.
So you would not tell the bank or crypto.com. You would just lay low and just see if they ever found you. That's your plan?
Yeah, I would lay low. Well, okay, you got to try to launder or hide the money, right? Is what you got to try to do. Okay,
now we're laundering money.
No, you got to do something. You got to do something with it, right? Yeah. I don't mean I'm just going to let it sit. I mean, I'm going to try to hide it.
Yeah. I'm going to try to hide the money. Are you, Sal, going to hide?
The money will be hidden and I will lay low for a while and then creep out and create my slow build.
In the middle of the night, are you answering your door to loud knocks?
Oh, the old 4 a.m. loud knock. Well, they knock and then they just burst through.
That's the cops. Yeah. Well, this reminds me of the Disney movie Blank Check, 1994, with Brian Bonsall from Family Time.
What? I didn't know he was in a movie.
He may have been in one movie, but it was one good movie. He did something, and the neighbor's like, "Oh, here's a blank check." And of course, he makes it for a lot of money. And then he tries to hide the money saying, this guy in Macintosh, I'm working for this guy in Macintosh. And it's like a kid's dream. He can get anything he wants. He's tricking his brothers and his dad. And you know what? It's a fun movie. I had a really good time with it, but it reminds me of that. This is too good to be true. This is the Golden Goose. Oh, Duffy was in that movie from MTV back in the day. But anyway.
Oh, yes.
Karen Duffy.
The VJ.
But the first thing Manivel should check in Australia is if they extradite to the US. I think that's number one checking that she probably did do. Google search on that.
But wait a second. Hang on, Jason. In order to be extradited to the US, you'd have to be from the US originally. That's where the US would bring you back home, so to speak, right?
Oh, okay. So you can't just commit a crime on foreign soil?
No, I think extradition
is when you.
like, let's say I
Oh, I
commit a crime in
understand.
the
Yeah.
US, I fly to Mexico, then they can extradite me back to the
Okay.
US. I think
Well,
that's
maybe
how
they
that
could
works.
work with, is Australia going to work with the US to, punish someone who's
They
done a
can do
crime
that.
on,
Yeah.
So these are things you're going to look up, right?
Yeah,
If your plan is to do, lay low, start laundering, and that's kind of what comes into play here, Sal, because old Manivel did not tell crypto.com, hey, I got my 100. Here's that, 10.5 US currency for the mistake. Sorry about that. No harm, no foul. No, she has held on to said funds.
But no,
Now,
it's one of those things, Jason, and we talked about this on previous episodes, where you have to consider the risk to reward
yes.
ratio, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
we
yeah.
talked about before. Would I serve 2 years in prison for $20 million?
Yeah.
Would I?
I think you're a 5 million is what I got from you.
5 million
per year.
5
So,
million per year. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you give me $10 million, I'll serve 2 years in prison.
Yeah, but we don't know the punishment, Sal.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, that's the thing. So that's what I'll be Googling. What is the punishment for not returning money?
That's when we check your search history. So now it took crypto.com 7 months to make this discovery. That is its own issue, right? Like, it's one thing to do it. They didn't know for 7 months. That just blows my mind. I don't understand it at all. Again, this is the same company that spent 700 million on the naming rights for Staples Center. So who knows? But it appears cryptocurrency companies are used to constant volatility in the marketplace, being attacked by hackers, and overpaying their customers, Sal. It's not the most stable. I mean, I find it fascinating, cryptocurrency and everything, but it's because it's just evolving. We're still in this infant stage, and things like this are happening.
So in other words, the money was gone, but they didn't notice. That's how volatile it is that they didn't notice $10 million missing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah, I know I'm kind of confusing this. We're going off US and the Australian money, but whatever. We'll try to keep it straight. So now,
7.1 million in American money and 10.5 in Australia.
Yeah, exactly. I think I said the reverse earlier. Yes, it is 7.1 in US dollars, and yes, correct. 10.5 in Australian money and $100. But anyway, okay, back to it. Court documents show that in May 2021, an employee from the Singapore-based trading platform mistakenly entered an account number into the payment amount field, which sent Manivel millions of dollars. Sal, that's a very strange account number to be 105000000, but that appears to have happened.
That's a lot of zeros.
That's someone's account number. Okay, I guess that I'll buy that, but that's a weird explanation. Or they went to Manivel's account number and just put in the wrong amount. But then in December 2021, when conducting a routine audit, a 7-month routine audit, crypto.com became aware of the costly error. And Sal, is this a fireable offense or just a warning for the employee? I don't know. What would you do?
I'm sure somebody got written up.
written up. It seems like you've done this before. No, you're inside job.
Yeah, one thing you have to consider, I was just going to say that. One thing you have to consider is the potential for inside. I always go there. I was like, somebody on the inside,
Well, crypto.com is now going after Manivel and her sister, Thela. Bear with me here. Another tougher name for me to pronounce. Thevamanogari Manivel. Okay. Not the same last name, mind you. Of course, people get married, whatever, maiden names. So they're going after the sisters to retrieve the money along with 10% interest and legal fees. So they make this blunder. They don't know about it for 7 months, and now they're coming fast. So this is you, Sal Rodriguez, hunkering down 7 months. You think you're in the clear, right? You might think you're in the clear after 3 months, but now we're 7 months, more than half of a year, and now they're coming after them.
By the way, just so you know, if I were to all of a sudden get this windfall and I were to try to hide it and I were to try to launder it, I would have no clue how to do that. I would only try to learn somehow.
Yeah. You got to learn.
I have no idea how to launder money at all.
Well, nor do I. But you start listening to podcasts.
There should be podcasts on laundering money.
Yeah. So, Sal, this is a cryptocurrency platform, as discussed. which is decentralized, and thus the transactions are not reversible, right? So this is probably playing into Manivel's thinking. So she's probably thinking, Eureka, this is great. This is, all, the ledger, and it'll be good. You can't reverse it. Well, now the company, now crypto.com, was able to convince authorities to freeze Manivel's bank account in February 2022. So I get that, these aren't reversible, but we've seen this happen in some instances where they're able to unwind, look at the blockchain and honor it, because that's how it's going to probably build trust in the marketplace and more people would do things. So they were able to freeze her bank accounts. Authorities, US probably working with Australia, whatever, but she had already transferred the money to other defendants who are named in the case, her sister being among them. It's the only name that they gave us. Additionally, Sal, she had allegedly spent 1.3 million Australian dollars on a property. So, Sal, what's the first thing you would purchase if and when you did, as you were hunkering down with said money?
I think the first thing I would purchase would probably be just a I don't know, maybe just sort of an upgraded lifestyle that no one would see, new furnishings,
okay,
new entertainment center. I would get stuff that wouldn't be so visible. I wouldn't get the new car. I wouldn't get the new place. I would just sort of upgrade my home environment.
There'd be a lot of deliveries all of a sudden coming to your
there
house.
You go. All of a sudden I have a 75-incher, behind me, and all of a sudden I get into more expensive action figures all of a sudden, is what you got.
Wow, what's going on over there? But I couldn't tell on this side of the country through the lens. I wouldn't be able to tell. I wouldn't know that you're sitting on this, golden ticket, all these funds. But
I think I would never, I think, be able to rest and assume that they weren't going to knock on my door at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I'd ever be able to think I really got away with it.
I'm the same way. I don't want to live a life where I'm looking over my shoulder. And Manivel probably, we don't know her background. We don't know what they had. They were in the crypto space and experimenting. So, they're somewhat educated and trying things, not afraid of online banking. It's a considerable amount of money. It would make the most holy man think twice about things. Sure. It's like it's Pandora's
tempting.
box.
That's
like,
the word, tempting.
Hey, this is that level that's just like, game changer, different life. I mean, it's a different life. If you're going to go down this path, you are now going to a new life.
It's life changing. It's not just you get a new car. It's not just you get a new house. No. It is life changing.
And then they probably, exactly. And they're probably thinking, how could we do this? What's the best way to do this? Could we do good with this money? Is this a sign? People are going to try to justify it. We did a movie, Holy Rollers.
The Lord has blessed me.
The Lord has blessed me. Our documentary, Holy Rollers, the true story of card counting Christians, it deals with some of this. Now, this is a lot of money just landing in your lap, but in that documentary we did, we followed the largest card counting team in the country. They were card counters. They played blackjack, and they went in and they counted cards. They worked together as teams. People would bring on Christians and say, hey, you're a Christian, join our team. And then you would be trusted. Here's $80,000. Go to the casino, log your hours, and let us know how you did. Okay. You're Sal Rodriguez. I'm Jason Connell. I'm on the team. I was not. Here's 80,000. No one's watching. Oh, I lost 10 grand tonight at blackjack. And they took me down. You could pocket that because you're only making an hourly wage. Well, people started cheating. People were tempted. It happens. It's human nature. I'm working really hard. I'm making good money per hour for this team. We're all pulling the money together. But, here's something right here. Is this fate? Was this what it was supposed to be? Was this a sign? It happens. Right. And that's one interesting aspect of many of that movie. I highly recommend it. But it's here. It shows up in your account. What do I do?
Jason, that's why one of my favorite, speaking of movies, one of my favorite movies is Indecent Proposal.
Oh, I love it.
Because Indecent Proposal makes everybody in the audience go, what would I do? What would I really do in a situation like that? I love those what would I do moments.
Yeah. Well, Sal, if someone was going to pay you $1 million to sleep with you, I think you'd just do it.
To sleep with me?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I would
brainer.
think.
No,
No.
brainer.
Here's my first thought, because I used to work in sales at one time.
Okay.
Well, if they're willing to offer me $1 million,
Yeah, maybe I'll get to.
maybe they can offer me a little
Oh,
more.
I like it. You can drive a hard bargain. So I like it.
Oh,
So yeah, sorry about that. So the good news for crypto.com is a judge recently ruled in their favor in the case, and it's going to return to the courts in October 2022. So coming up, Sal, next month,
yep.
we'll see where this is going. Next steps are to be determined. We'll find out. But I am fascinated to see what can and will be done just because of the space, this, that, and the other. And Manivel has been moving the money around, passing along to others. Who else will they go after? They're already got her sister, the crosshairs on her. Like, is that her plan? Like maybe get a house like in Florida. Listen, like there's different rules in our own country. Different states have different things. They can't take someone's home in Florida, as far as I know. Now, unless they got it. So maybe there's ways that you could, if it was, stolen money and you could prove that. But a lot of times if you have a residence that, well, we can't take that, we can take everything else. So who knows what they're doing? They're probably looking at Australian rules and laws, get a house, share with people. I don't know, man, but imagine getting that call from Manivel and she's saying, hey, listen, you're in my inner circle and this just happened. Are you in or you're out? Like they're going to find out eventually. So you're in or what? This is a documentary or even a feature film about this, as this is still unfolding in real time.
I would love to see an interview with Manivel.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Right? Because we know who she is. This is all public information. Let's sit down and talk to you. Like, I'd love to hear her side of the story.
Yeah. If Manivel did something profound and did something amazing with the money to help, children or an animal shelter or a sanctuary or just something, feed the poor or the less, the poverty or help cure something, good luck to crypto.com recouping that money. You could go viral with it. It'd be like Robin Hood, stealing from the rich.
Yeah.
Speaking of, that's another platform, but yeah, you could, steal from the rich, help the poor. That would be the level to go and kind of put yourself in an untouchable position. And maybe you're getting an hourly or like a annual salary to help run this thing. That might be the way to go to kind of sidestep it and be in favor with the public. But I hadn't even thought about that until now, but I don't think this is what she's doing.
No, she's not like she's just like hiding out, right?
Hiding out, getting a house. And I am really anxious to see what they can do. Not to mention they're going after interest in legal fees. Like this person is, what do you expect from them? They're lucky to get this money back. So
I'd like to see the house too. I'd like to have a few shots of the house. What
I
does
don't
that
know
house
how-
look like?
Yeah, it was, for $1 million.
I'm sure it's pretty nice. 1.35.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
with the US conversion still, that'll be probably a pretty nice
but
place.
There, it's there. So it's in Australia. So it's probably amazing. Yeah. Who knows what area, but Melbourne's beautiful. It's amazing. So
I always think of the Outback. For some reason, I'm always every time I think of Australia, I think of the Outback.
Melbourne reminded me of cities on the Pacific, Pacific Northwest. It just did like Seattle.
Yeah.
It kind of had that vibe. I was there in, what was it, like summer? And actually I was there in September several years ago, right after I lost Brody. It was unfortunate timing, but they flew me over and, I was still at mourning my dog, which was beautiful. And I took some of his ashes and I just really enjoyed my time at the festival. But Melbourne, of the 3 places I went, I was like, oh man, this is like, I think I'm in Seattle or Seattle adjacent because the climate, but it was very metropolitan. Melbourne was like humming along, great place, and not cheap, by the way.
No kangaroos.
I didn't see, they're probably there, but I was in the city and I was really blown away by it. Love to go back, but so it's not a cheap place to live. I should say that. I was looking at like real estate, you're just kind of taking it in like, oh no, because it's a nice place, very affluent. But anyway, this incident comes at a difficult time for crypto.com. Turns out all crypto, as you know, has gone down, right? From the high of last year to the, and this company in particular has laid off 260 employees, 5% of its workforce recently. And in June, it was faced with a second round of cuts. Sorry, They laid off the 5% in June, and now they're faced with a second round of cuts upcoming. So, they're slashing people, not slashing them literally, but jobs are going away. Obviously, a 7.1 misfire. They're going to try to go retrieve said money now. They're probably hemorrhaging money, and they're still paying, which I read, they're still paying on the $700 million price tag for Staples Center. It wasn't 700 in cash up front. It's probably like, every quarter you got to pay something. Yep. That's a heavy price tag. Divide that, by 10 years, 12 years, whatever. It's a lot of money every time that check is due. So they're probably trying to save every penny, literally, at this point in time.
Also, Jason, I don't know if you were aware, but Crypto.com is a big sponsor of the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll see guys fighting with Crypto.com on their shorts.
Yeah, they need that money, so they need. They need the brand awareness out there. Actually, they need the brand awareness. They're paying those.
Well, guys. So here's what I'm thinking. Then, I'm reminded of the time I had a identity theft issue.
Yeah.
And somebody bought airline tickets with my credit card, and to the sum of about $800 or $900. When everything was said and done, I got everything was squared away and everything was fine. But I said to the banking person, I said, "Will there be some sort of investigation? Will there be some sort of
absolutely not
somebody on the case?" They're like, "Nope, we write it off and move along." When you look at how much Crypto.com is worth, how much money they shell out, not unlike DB Cooper, how much money are you willing to spend,
right,
to get some money back? How much money is Crypto.com willing to spend to get back 10 million? You know what? Would they just reach a point where they just wash their hands, write it off, and move along?
It's a lot of money. It's worthwhile to at least go after this. Now, had this been 100,000 and it took 7 months to find it, and she's like, "Hey, I spent it. I didn't know. I did it," wouldn't be as big of a deal.
Okay, so you think maybe 100,000 and less, they write it off?
Well, I think they go after 500,000. I think a million, and this is that times so much more, right? It's just
they won't write this off.
Yeah, and then they have to go in and fix their practices so this
they got to change their software.
Happens again.
How do we prevent this from happening?
A rep can't go into any account number and do whatever, and anything over a certain amount needs like 5 people's signatures on it. All that's different now.
What if it was like an Apple One temp who did that?
Exactly. So, and for the investors abandoning cryptocurrency, the trading volumes have been dipping significantly, as I mentioned. Bitcoin and Ethereum are both down by more than 58% this year, Sal. So there's some hard numbers to that. Wow. While the wider crypto market has fallen below $1 trillion, down from $3 trillion at its peak in November 2021. So it's a bleak time in the crypto space right now, but these things, all investing has highs and lows, ups and downs. And we'll see if it bounces back. I think it's something that's not going away. It came and it's been here for a while. It had its peak, and it's the kind of thing that goes down, and then either people jump on more, people get out, and it'll come back up. So that's me. I think it'll come back. And I think crypto.com will be one of the guys that could, have staying power, like with Coinbase, and then Robinhood also sell some of this, although they had recent issues, but they're not just a crypto company. They're like an all investing company. But I'm anxious to see what happens to the market, but I'm very curious to see what happens with, here's the names again. You want to take a shot at these names? I did my times.
Thevamanogari Manivel, and her sister sorry, one more time.
I know, right?
Thilaggavathi Gangadori. Now, I just want to be, these are not Australian names. I'm wondering if these are Maori, the natives of you have the Aboriginals. But then, no, I'm sorry. The Maoris are in New Zealand. No, forget that. Maoris are in New Zealand. Are these Aboriginal people? Because I've never heard names such as this.
Yeah, very unique names.
Yeah,
I'm not
definitely.
sure. They could love to see New Zealanders who moved to Australia.
They could be also. Yeah, I want to know what these people look like, because I've never heard of names such as this ever.
I know.
I'm curious what culture this is.
Actually,
but I wanted to ask
the
you
names. Yes.
No, they're fantastic. I'd never heard of them. So let me ask you though, Jason. When it comes to crypto, you look at, let's say, charts and graphs. You think crypto has peaked?
Oh no, I think that
Or
was its
there will be a,
all-time
you think
peak.
there'll be a greater peak?
Oh yeah, I think
You think
there'll
so?
be a
Okay.
new bar. I think it just
Okay.
sometimes things go up and it's like, oh my God, it's exploding, and then things go down, and then
Right.
that's the new norm, right? I think it just takes time. Something just doesn't come out of nowhere and blow up like that and then disappear. I think this is the beginning of what's coming. But it's not taking over anytime soon, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we know when it's high. It's like, this is it. Let's get on this. But we'll see. It's an interesting thing to keep an eye on, and keeping an eye on this case and this crime. There's obviously a crime. We're pointing out that crypto.com made some mistakes, but at the end of the day, this is a crime. You're going for $100 transaction, you get 10.5 Australian dollars, and you keep it. You have now committed a crime because they didn't just give it to you. I'm sure there was lots of messages, emails, phone calls. You've crossed that line. This person knows it, and they've weighed risk and reward, Sal. They
What is the
absolutely have.
crime officially? Is it theft? Is that the crime?
I don't know where it falls in the category because they
Because let me tell you
obviously,
something.
you and
Okay.
I know they didn't break anywhere and take it. I know. What do you categorize it? But please.
Okay. So recently I was accidentally sent money on Venmo. Recently I was accidentally sent money on PayPal. Two different platforms. What if hypothetically I just grabbed the money and ran off? What is my crime? Is the crime theft? Is that what the crime is?
Yeah, there's probably a specific term for it, you know. Obviously, it wasn't yours, but yeah, I don't know. I'm anxious to see what happens in October, and then maybe we'll get some more hard evidence, and we could always come back and revisit this crime.
Yeah, I'd like to learn more because I'm very interested what the punishment will be when all is said and done, and I really would like to know what is the actual crime that has
Yeah.
officially taken place,
Yeah,
because
the
this person
specifics.
did not go steal the money.
No,
They were accidentally handed the money. So that's
and
a little different, right?
absolutely. And if
But
we
yeah,
do come back after October and there's more things, playing out in the courts, we can learn what Manivel and Gangadori have done to elude the law and retain their accidental windfall. I'm dying to see how this thing plays out. We don't know. It could go so many bizarre ways. They disappear. The other people, they've spread the money so thin that they only have a sliver, and it's in so many other hands. It's like, it is a fascinating thing unfolding, and I'm really anxious to see what happens. But I wanted to come here today to cover it because it's so bizarre. It had to be, broken down here on That's a Crime.
also interesting that they're sisters. I like that.
Exactly.
Too.
Yeah.
That's really interesting too. It's a family affair.
There's 7 sisters, but only 2 are in on it. No, we don't know. We don't know. We will find out more. But that covers it, Sal. Crypto.com sues woman after sending her $7.1 million instead of $68 in 2021.
Nice. Good luck, sisters.
So unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code That's a Crime at manscaped.com.
So thank you so much for listening. And please be sure to subscribe to That's a Crime podcast, as well as the That's a Crime YouTube live channel. You can also really help us by giving the show a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts.
And for all you listeners that enjoy sharing your thoughts, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, send us a direct message, or post a comment on any That's a Crime social media platform.
We also highly recommend checking out our other podcast and visiting justcuriousmedia.com. Great job.